There's a strange thing that happens when a woman starts falling for a man. She doesn't announce it, she doesn't confess it, and she definitely doesn't make it obvious. Instead, she hides it behind layers of silence, unpredictability, subtle tests, and tiny signals she hopes you'll recognize, but only if you're the kind of man she feels is worth revealing herself to. Because here's the truth most men never hear. Women don't express attraction directly. They leak it. In micro-behaviors, in the way they react to your presence, in the hesitations they hope you don't notice, and in the attention they give you when they claim they're not even thinking about you. The female mind doesn't communicate in straight lines. It communicates in loops, in tension, in contradictions. She might ignore your text, but still stalk your social media. She might say she's busy, yet somehow finds time to watch your stories the moment you post. She might act calm when you walk into a room, but her nervous habits expose her every single time. Most men miss these details. But a man who understands what her silence means, what her delays mean, what her overthinking means, becomes the one man she can't hide from. And this is where everything changes. Because when a woman is into you, she doesn't show you through words. She shows you through emotional gravity. She shows you through the energy she sends your way, even when she's trying to be mysterious. She shows you through the way she reacts to your absence more than your presence. She shows you through the tiny fractures in her mask that she hopes you won't decode, but also secretly hopes you will. This video isn't about the obvious signs every man already knows. This isn't about she smiles or she laughs at your jokes. No. This is about the 7 hidden signals that the female mind exposes only when she feels something deeper. Signals she'll never admit, not even to her best friend. We're talking about the subtle emotional shifts, the contrast between how she treats you and how she treats other men, the specific way she studies your reactions, the invisible tug-of-war she plays with her own vulnerability, and the instinctive behaviors she can't switch off, no matter how hard she tries to play it cool. When you understand these signs, you stop guessing, you stop overthinking, and you step into the rare category of men who truly see her. Because attraction isn't loud, it's quiet, it's psychological, and when she's into you, the truth is already written in her behavior long before she ever says a word. If you're ready to decode what she'll never say out loud, let's begin. Before we start, a quick reminder. The real transformation doesn't happen on YouTube. It happens inside the community. If these videos have opened your eyes, what's inside will rebuild your mindset completely. It's not just a course, it's a brotherhood. A private space where men master attraction, emotional control, and the psychology of power. You don't join for a month, you join for life. Every future course, book, and lesson is yours forever. No subscriptions, no limits. Just one decision that changes your direction. If you're serious about growth, discipline, and purpose, click the link below. Join the community. Enroll once. Grow forever. Let's dive in. Signal number 1, the silent shift in her attention. Before a woman ever admits she's developing feelings, her attention changes first, subtly, quietly, and almost unwillingly. She won't tell you she's interested, but her mind begins orbiting around you in ways she can't fully control. And the first sign is the shift in where her attention goes and how quickly it goes there. This shift is not loud, it's not dramatic, it's not a confession. It's a pattern, and it emerges every time she feels emotional chemistry toward a man who stands out from the rest. The female mind is constantly scanning for emotional stimulation, safety, and potential connection. Most men barely register on her emotional radar, but the moment she feels a spark with you, she begins noticing small things about you without consciously deciding to. She catches details in your tone, your mood, the way you move, the pauses in your texts, the rhythm of your silence. She becomes hyper-aware of anything that carries your name on it. Not because she chooses to, but because your presence activates a different level of internal interest. Here's the powerful part most men never understand. A woman's attraction shows up first in her reactions, not her actions. She reacts differently to you than she does to other men long before she expresses anything directly. If another man messages her, she may respond whenever she feels like it. But when you message her, she reads it instantly, even if she doesn't reply instantly. If another man walks into the room, she barely notices. When you walk in, something in her shifts. She becomes slightly more aware of herself, slightly more conscious of her posture, slightly more deliberate in her composure. This is not performance, it's instinct. Another part of this silent shift is how quickly she notices your absence. Women pay attention to the men they want to impress and the men they fear losing. So when she's into you, even if she tries to look unbothered, she feels a subtle emotional pull when you go quiet. She starts wondering where you are, why you haven't reached out, and what you might be doing. She might fight that curiosity, but she can't turn it off. It's the first sign that you have emotional weight in her life. And here's the twist that keeps men confused. She often hides this shift. She tries to look neutral, calm, uninterested even. Not because she isn't feeling something, but because the attraction is still fragile and new. Women test their own emotions before revealing them to a man. They need to know if the feeling is safe, if it's reciprocated, if you're a man who can handle her vulnerability without misusing it. So the first sign isn't something she does toward you. It's something that changes inside her when you enter her world. A psychological attention shift that she'll never admit, but you'll always feel if you know what to look for. Signal number 2, her restlessness around you. One of the strongest signs a woman is secretly into you is the subtle restlessness she experiences whenever you're near. This isn't the dramatic movie-type nervousness people imagine. It's quieter, more refined, almost invisible unless you know how to read female psychology. But it's real, and it reveals itself through the small disruptions in the emotional balance she normally keeps under control. A woman who doesn't care about a man remains completely grounded around him. Her gestures stay smooth, her voice steady, her behavior predictable. But when she feels a growing attraction, her body and mind begin to betray her in ways she didn't approve. This restlessness shows up first in how she adjusts herself when she notices you. She might fix her hair without realizing it, straighten her outfit, reposition how she's sitting, or take a slightly deeper breath as if she's preparing her emotional posture. These tiny actions aren't random. They're instinctive responses, triggered by the presence of a man who makes her feminine energy wake up. She wants to look composed, but her body says, "Pay attention, he's here." Another form of this restlessness is her fluctuating comfort levels. Around most people, she's consistent. She knows exactly how to act. But around you, she might go from confident to shy, from talkative to quiet, from relaxed to slightly tense, all within minutes. That inconsistency is not confusion. It's emotional activation. You're stirring something inside her, and she's trying to hide how much it affects her. Women are experts at managing their emotions in public, but attraction disrupts their usual rhythm, creating micro-moments where their desire slips through the cracks. Restlessness also appears in the way she interacts with you compared to others. If she's around a group, she might seem outgoing and engaged, until you speak. Suddenly, she becomes more attentive, more reactive, more sensitive to your presence. She listens closely, even when she pretends not to. She reacts more strongly to your humor, your tone, or your silence. You shift the emotional temperature of the room for her, and that alone tells you something powerful. Her mind has given you emotional priority. You'll also notice this restlessness in her attempts to avoid being too obvious. She might limit eye contact when she's nervous, but when you're not looking, she glances more than once. She might slow her responses to avoid appearing eager, yet her messages are longer, more thoughtful, or more emotionally charged than what she gives other men. She's trying to keep her feelings neat and hidden, But attraction is never neat. It leaks out, especially when she's trying to cage it. And perhaps the deepest sign of this restlessness is the internal conflict she feels. She wants you to notice her, yet she fears being too transparent. She wants to appear in control, yet she feels drawn toward you in ways she can't silence. This emotional tug-of-war creates the exact kind of restlessness that reveals everything she doesn't want to admit. A woman who is indifferent stays perfectly calm. A woman who's into you can't. Her mind may try to hide it, but her energy exposes her every single time. Signal number 3, the emotional echo effect. One of the most revealing signs that a woman is secretly into you is what I call the emotional echo effect, her tendency to mirror your emotional state, your tempo, and even your silence without consciously choosing to. This is not imitation. It is emotional synchronization, a psychological bond forming beneath her awareness. When a woman has genuine feelings for a man, her emotions begin to echo his, creating a subtle alignment in behavior that she cannot fully control. It is her mind's way of staying close to you without admitting that she wants to. This echo effect often begins with communication patterns. If you become slightly distant, she becomes slightly uneasy. If you pull back to test the waters, she suddenly becomes more attentive, more present, or more reactive. She may not reach out first, but her behavior shifts to match whatever energy you're sending. A man she doesn't care about could disappear for days and she would feel nothing. But when you go quiet, her mind registers it instantly. She may overthink. She may slow her replies to stay in control. She may speed them up because she feels a pull. But one way or another, she adjusts herself to your rhythm. It also shows up in her mood shifts. When she's into you, your emotional state influences hers more than she wants you to know. If you seem confident, she feels more relaxed. If you seem withdrawn, she becomes more sensitive. If you appear focused, she becomes calmer. If you appear distant, she becomes slightly anxious. This synchronization is automatic. It's how female attraction operates. Women emotionally mirror the men who matter to them because emotional alignment is the foundation of feminine bonding. You might also notice this echo effect in her conversational behavior. If you open up a little, she opens up more. If you become mysterious, she tries to dig deeper. If you tease lightly, she teases back. If you share something meaningful, she suddenly reveals something personal in return. She adapts to you in real time, not because she's trying to impress you, but because she feels safe enough or intrigued enough to meet you where you are. Another powerful example of this effect is how she responds to your silence. Silence is a mirror that reveals everything. When she likes you, your silence doesn't feel neutral to her, it feels charged. If you slow down, she becomes more attentive. If you take longer to respond, she becomes more aware of each minute. This doesn't mean she becomes clingy. It means she's emotionally tuned into you, and your absence carries weight. The emotional echo effect is also present in group dynamics. Watch how her reactions change when you speak versus when someone else does. If she's into you, her laughter is a little softer, her interest a little sharper, her body slightly angled toward you, even when she pretends not to notice. She echoes your presence without fully facing it. A woman echoes the energy of the man she desires because attraction makes her emotionally receptive. She doesn't say it out loud. She doesn't even admit it to herself. But her energy reveals the truth. You've already influenced her more than she planned. Signal number 4. The curiosity she can't hide. When a woman is secretly into you, her curiosity becomes one of the strongest signals. But she'll never admit it, and she'll try to disguise it behind casual questions or seemingly random conversations. Yet underneath those small interactions lies a deeper truth. She wants to understand you. Not the version you show the world, not the surface-level guy in public, but the inner layers you keep guarded. A woman who doesn't feel anything won't waste her emotional energy trying to decode a man. but a woman who's drawn to you becomes quietly invested in your world. This curiosity starts subtly. She pays attention to things about you that most people overlook. The way you speak when you're serious, the tone you use when you're tired, your reactions when someone challenges you, the emotions you hide behind your silence. Women are wired for emotional detail, but when she's into you, that attention sharpens. She observes you not for judgment, but for understanding. She wants to know how you think, how you feel, what you value, and what you avoid. And she'll collect those details like puzzle pieces, even if she pretends they mean nothing. Another form of this curiosity is how she asks questions that look innocent on the surface, but are emotionally loaded underneath. She might ask about your plans, your goals, your past relationships, your preferences, your routines, never directly, always woven into conversation. She's not being nosy. She's trying to map your emotional landscape. She wants to know what kind of man you are not, because she's evaluating you, but because she's intrigued by you. You'll also see this curiosity through her memory. She remembers things you said in passing, small details you didn't think mattered, preferences you barely noticed you revealed. A woman who doesn't care forgets quickly. A woman who's into you remembers the things that make you you. She recalls your habits, your jokes, your boundaries, the things that frustrate you, the things that inspire you. She pays attention because her interest is emotionally charged. Another powerful expression of her curiosity is how she reacts when other women come near you. She won't show jealousy directly. That would be too vulnerable, too revealing. Instead, she becomes more alert. She notices the tone you use with other women, the attention you give them, the way they respond to you. She's not checking for competition. She's checking for clarity. She wants to understand her place in your emotional world without admitting she wants one. Curiosity also shows up in how she positions herself around you. She gravitates toward conversations where you're present, even if she acts indifferent. She listens more closely when you speak, even if she doesn't respond. She stays emotionally connected, even when she pretends to detach. That is the power of feminine curiosity. It keeps her orbiting your world before she's ready to step into it. And here's the part most men never notice. Curiosity is the doorway to emotional attachment. When a woman becomes invested in learning you, she is already halfway connected. Her interest is no longer casual. It's personal, intentional, and quietly vulnerable. She may not show it. She may not admit it. But her curiosity exposes the truth. She feels something deeper than she wants you to realize. Signal number 5, the way she protects her vulnerability around you. One of the clearest signs a woman is secretly into you is how carefully she manages her vulnerability in your presence. Most men think that when a woman likes them, she becomes more open and expressive. Sometimes she does, but in the beginning, she often does the opposite. She becomes more guarded, more self-aware, more selective with what she reveals. Not because she doesn't trust you, but because her emotions are becoming valuable and she wants to protect them until she understands who you truly are. A woman who feels nothing around a man is effortlessly relaxed. She speaks freely, jokes freely, reveals without hesitation. But when she feels a growing attraction, everything becomes more meaningful. Her words matter. Her reactions matter. Her image matters. She becomes aware that she is being seen by someone whose opinion now carries emotional weight. And that awareness makes her cautious, not in a fearful way, but in a feminine, self-preserving way. She might appear more controlled in your presence, measuring her responses in a way she doesn't do with men she doesn't care about. She avoids oversharing too soon, not because she's hiding something, but because she wants to present the best version of herself while still keeping her emotional core safe. This is why women often mix confidence with subtle shyness when talking to the man they're attracted to. She wants to impress you, but she also wants to avoid exposing the depth of her interest before she knows how you feel. You'll also notice this vulnerability management in the way she reacts to compliments. A woman who isn't interested accepts compliments casually. They bounce off her. But when she likes you, compliments land differently. She becomes slightly flustered, slightly shy, slightly unsure how to handle the moment. Not because she doubts herself, but because those words matter more coming from you. They penetrate deeper, and she feels herself becoming emotionally responsive. Another powerful sign is how she tries to avoid appearing too available. When a woman is into you, she becomes aware that eagerness can reveal her feelings. So she balances her interest with restraint. She may delay replies not out of disinterest, but to keep her excitement from spilling out. She may act composed during conversations while internally overthinking every detail. She may avoid initiating too often because she doesn't want to seem needy. This controlled distance isn't rejection, it's protection. Her vulnerability management also shows up when she becomes sensitive to your emotional cues. If she senses you're upset, she becomes quieter. If she thinks she offended you, she tries to correct it softly. If she notices you pulling away, she subtly adjusts her behavior, even if she pretends she didn't notice a thing. She's guarding her feelings, but she's also guarding the connection. And here's the truth most men overlook. A woman protects her vulnerability only around the man who has emotional impact. If she guards herself with you, if she becomes more careful, more selective, more composed, it's because her feelings aren't small. They're growing. And she's afraid of misplacing them before she knows they're safe. Signal number 6. How her effort becomes invisible, but intentional. A woman who is secretly into you will never announce her effort. She won't tell you she's trying, she won't admit she's adjusting herself for you, and she won't show the full weight of her interest. Instead, her effort becomes invisible, woven into small, intentional behaviors that she hopes you notice without feeling exposed. This is where most men misunderstand women. They think effort means grand gestures. But for women, real effort is subtle, strategic, and emotionally calculated, especially in the early stages of attraction. The first layer of this invisible effort is how she adjusts her appearance around you. She won't make it obvious. She won't dress in a dramatically different way. But she'll choose outfits that make her feel confident. She'll fix small details before seeing you. She'll check her reflection when she thinks you're not paying attention. These acts aren't vanity. They're emotional investment. She doesn't prepare herself for a man she doesn't care about. She prepares for the man she wants to impress, even if she'll deny she did anything different. Another expression of this invisible effort is how she participates in conversations. She becomes more thoughtful, more intentional, more engaged. She listens more carefully, responds more meaningfully, and chooses her words with a little more precision. She doesn't want to say something that pushes you away or reveals too much too soon. She wants to maintain an emotional balance that keeps you intrigued while protecting her heart. Her effort is in the attention she gives, the patience she shows, and the emotional space she creates for you without drawing attention to herself. Her invisible effort also shows up in the way she makes time for you. She might not initiate often, but she becomes available when you reach out. She rearranges her schedule without admitting it. She gives you more energy than she gives other men, even if she hides it behind casual excuses like, "I wasn't doing anything anyway." The truth is simple. Effort shows where priority lives. And if she prioritizes you quietly, without recognition, it means her feelings are deeper than she wants you to suspect. Another powerful sign of this hidden effort is how she shares small pieces of her life with you. She might send a picture of something that reminded her of you. She might mention a detail of her day that she felt you would connect with. She might update you on something you talked about earlier. These are micro-investments, emotional breadcrumbs she offers to keep the connection alive without appearing forward. Even her silence contains effort. She thinks before replying. She chooses when to engage. She calculates how her actions might affect the dynamic. This is not manipulation. It is emotional awareness. When a woman likes you, she becomes more intentional about how she shows up in your life. She doesn't want to sabotage the growing bond, so she participates carefully, thoughtfully, and with a quiet hope that you notice her subtle commitment. A woman who has no interest invests nothing. A woman who is fully interested invests quietly. Her effort isn't loud, but it is real, and once you learn to see it, you'll never miss it again. At the end of all this, here's what you must understand. A woman rarely expresses her interest through direct words. That's not how the female mind operates. Her attraction reveals itself through energy, through reactions, through patterns she can't fully suppress. She won't tell you she thinks about you more than she expected. She won't admit her heart beats differently when she sees your name. She won't confess the storm of emotions she tries to organize every time you shift, pull back, or show strength. But her actions, subtle, quiet, almost invisible, tell the truth with perfect clarity if you know how to read them. Throughout her life, she has learned to protect her feelings, to guard her vulnerability, to move carefully in the early stages of interest. And that's why she hides her attraction behind small, coded behaviors. But if you pay attention, you'll notice those signals building into a pattern that's impossible to ignore. You'll see the way her attention sharpens when you enter the room, the way she becomes restless in your presence, the way her energy echoes yours, even when she tries to remain neutral. You'll notice the curiosity she can't silence, the effort she makes without announcing it, the way she protects her emotions, yet stays emotionally responsive to everything you do. These are not coincidences. These are emotional fingerprints, unique signatures of genuine feminine interest. And once you understand them, you stop guessing. You stop doubting yourself. You stop falling into the trap of chasing women who show you nothing, while ignoring the ones who are giving you everything quietly. You begin to see her truth before she's ready to express it. You begin to notice the emotional rhythm that ties her reactions to your presence. You begin to recognize the difference between a woman who is simply polite or friendly and a woman who is emotionally drawn to you in a way she can't disguise. So the question isn't whether she will tell you she's into you. She won't. Not at first. The question is whether you are aware enough, calm enough, and grounded enough to see her truth in motion, to see the signs she tries to hide, to observe the emotional language she speaks without words. Because in the end, women don't reveal their feelings verbally, they reveal them behaviorally. And the man who understands these hidden signs becomes the man she can't forget, can't ignore, and can't detach from easily. So pay attention. Watch the small signals. Listen to her reactions. She might not say it out loud, but her truth is already written in the way she responds to you. You just needed to know how to read it. Remember, knowledge means nothing without action. If you're ready to rise above emotion and lead with purpose, join the community today at the link below. Enroll once, grow forever.